I get a lot of people asking me how we were blessed to walk away from corporate America in our early 30s. Well, listen, I don't want to keep that a secret. I want to share it with the world. And so maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're trying to figure out, how do I even get started on my journey of entrepreneurship and getting to a level of freedom? Well, text the word freedom to 737 777 9909. Enter your information in, and we look forward to sharing some information with you. A proven system with small overhead, right? That you can do part-time, spare time, right from the comfort of your home, and have amazing mentors, coaches, and a community of entrepreneurs who are willing to support you and help you on your journey to freedom. Welcome to Code Freedom. I'm your host, Eddie Bales. Have you ever felt stuck? Have you ever felt like there's got to be more than life than the reality that you see every day? Tune in weekly, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays as we crack the codes to freedom in every area of your life. Welcome to Code Freedom. This is your host, Eddie Bales, and this is episode 164. And I'm excited today. We're going to talk about goal getting because, I mentioned on the last episode that I was moving closer to a goal, and I'm really excited about it. But I thought, hey, we should talk about goal getting because we haven't talked about it in a while, And so, because we are on our journey for freedom, we want to be better than the average person. And the average person doesn't set any goals, much less writes them down. So you want to write your goals down. And Grant Cardone says, write them down every single day. And I think it's a great idea because the person that's writing it down every day is going to be on the top of mind. It's not going to be something you forget about. It's not going to be something you just like let fade to the background, but you're focused on it every day because you're writing it down every day. Versus a person that doesn't write it down, it's like they're not even, maybe they're not connected with the goal as much because they haven't internalized it, focused on it, visualized it, thought about it, wrote it down, and really crystallize their thinking on it. So again, have a goal, number one, then write a goal down. But many of you have heard of the SMART goals, and hey, many of you may not have. So real quickly, I'm gonna just kind of share a little bit about the SMART goals. It starts with the S, which is it's got to be specific. It can't just be I want to lose weight, I want a better marriage, I want to be successful. It's got to be, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's something we can actually be very specific about. So you got to have, it has to be specific, right? The more specific, the better, because then we can actually hit the target. We have something that we're actually shooting for versus something very general and vague that we don't even have any clear direction. So that's the first thing, it's specific. Then it's measurable. How can we measure it so that we can track it and get some data around it and know that we have accomplished it? So if we say, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 or 3 months, um, I want to I want to earn a six-figure income in my business. I want to make $1 million. I want to make $10,000 a month. Whatever. I want to uh, have a um, I want to have a better marriage, right? But what does a better marriage look like, right? Like for instance, I want to go on a date night every single week, or I want to, whatever. You get to decide what the thing is, but it's got to be something you can measure so you can track it, so you know that you're on track for it because you're measuring it. And then it's the A. It's got to be something that's attainable, right? Like it's got to be something that is within reach, for you, based on the situation that you have going on and based on what's happening in your lifestyle. All those things are important, and it's got to be just something that you can really strive for, that you can see yourself achieving. Because if you don't believe it, you'll never even go for it. So that's important. That it's got to be, it could be attainable or achievable, but it's got to be something that um, that you feel you can reach. Now it should stretch you a little bit, but it also should still be something that you feel you can reach, you know? And then you got the R, which is it's got to be realistic. Or some people say realistic, some people say relevant, but it's got to be um, within the constraints of your lifestyle. It's got to be within the constraints of what you're shooting for, what you're striving for, something that can you feel you can achieve, and something that is like if we said realistic, it's got to be something that like for instance, you don't want to say, well, I want to make $100,000 a month, um, and you haven't even made your first $1,000. That's probably not going to happen within the next month, right? I don't know how realistic that could be based on, and you're working full time, and you have a family and kids and things like that, and you're still working on getting to that first thousand. So, saying I want to make 100 grand, yes, that's cool. However, not just yet. Let's say, and I don't want to put a limit on you, so I'm not going to say a number, but you get to decide what's realistic to you, and then of course you need to have a timeline attached. Here's why a timeline is important because of the 80-20 rule. We all know that it's called the Pareto principle, but we all know that 80% of the work usually gets done in the last 20% of the time. Think about it. When do kids get their homework done? In the last 20 minutes, 20% of the time, right? 80% of it gets done. If you've ever gotten married, when does most of the things happen for the wedding? The last 20% of the time, right? So that 80-20 rule is always working. So you want to have a timeline so that you could be a little bit more focused. You could have a little bit more of some metrics and some targets. You could break it down week by week or step by step based on whenever you set the goal. But you want to make sure that you have a timeline. And so goal setting is really important. I always say if you don't have a goal, it's like running a race without a finish line. And who wants to do that? Because then you just get exhausted from running. You just like running for no reason. So have some goals. Like we talked again, I think I talked in the last episode about existing. And if you want to live a life of freedom, you got to be intentional about your time. You got to be intentional about what you're doing in that time, and you got to have some goals. Because we all have 24 hours in a day, but it's how we spend that 24 hours, what we do in that 24 hours that matters. But if we don't have any goals, then I can guarantee you, we are probably wasting a lot of time, right? So I'm just curious, what are some of your goals, right? And it could be multiple different areas of life. It doesn't have to be career or business focused. But I would just suggest having some goals in every area of your life, to be honest with you, because you don't want one area to be strong while the other ones fall by the wayside, all because you didn't set some goals in that area. So key stuff, right? Key stuff is to have some goals in every area of your life. And I would even say break them down, like break them down by the quarter, break it down by the month, break it down by the weeks and then the days. You can figure it out down to the least common denominator. You know, like let's just say, like one of the things Grant Cardone says is do the math. So let's just say you wanted to make $1 million a year. Well, it may seem like that's a whole lot to make, right? But it's just $83,334.33 a month, right? And then if you said, okay, well, that seems like a lot, right? Well, then if you broke that down even more, dollars a year is $83,333 a month. I mentioned that, which is $19,230 a week, which is $2,739 a day. So what if there were a way where you could find a way to make $2,739 a day, right? And we could break that down even more, right? Because that could be as much as what $114 an hour, right? That's $1.90 per minute. That's making 3 cents per second. Right. So if we could find a way to make 3 cents a second, right? About $2 a minute or $115, close to $115 an hour, right? We can make $1 million. And so only reason why I did that is because when you drill it down like that and when you break it down like that, then you could be more intentional and have more of a sense of urgency because we know what the numbers are and we know what we need to do. And we need to do it with execution and we got to have some goals so we can make sure that we achieve it and all of that. So, listen, guys, I hope that as we wrap up this quarter at the end of this is the last month of the quarter in March, and we still got plenty of months left. So, give it everything you got. I hope you all are already have some goals, but I hope you're going for it, you're striving for it, and you're moving closer to it. And I can't wait to see you on the other side. I'd love to know what some of your goals are. So we'll connect in our Facebook group. It is the Code Freedom engagement group that we have. And by the way, if you want to connect with us there, just go to thewaytofreedom.info, thewaytofreedom.info, and you can connect with us there and let us know what your goals are, and we'll keep on pushing you towards your next levels of freedom. Thank you for tuning in, guys. God bless. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for listening. Definitely feel free to take a screenshot of this episode, tag me in it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you find me on social media. I would love to give you a shout out. Hey, you might even get a prize. Who knows? But excited that you had a chance to take a listen. I hope you got a lot of value. And definitely feel free to give us 5 stars as well as a review. Show us some love, and we appreciate you. God bless you all, and see you all over the top.